Oh, hi, Mr. Gonzalez.
Hello.
I'm Salis. It's so good to see you today.
So good to see you too.
Oh, can you take a seat?
Thank you.
Welcome to our service. I'm Salesh. Okay, I'm student social worker here. So, how do you get to our service today? Is it by bus, train, Uber?
I got the bus. There's a bus stop like right outside my house, so I decided to hit the bus. Nearly missed it, but yeah, I got the bus, and there's a bus stop about 2 minutes from here.
Oh
Like
yeah,
the
of course.
service.
Our service is like just 3 minutes to train station, and I guess 5 minutes to
Yeah.
bus stop. I think you didn't have hard time finding our office
No,
because
it's pretty
the
good.
board is pretty good outside, right? Okay. Before starting, I would like to ask you. So, how do you come to know our service?
My neighbor. I talk to him occasionally, and he mentioned that he's been here before. His name's Jack. And he was just talking about how it's been great for him and how he's sort of, his life has really improved since he's gone there. He's got more like some clarity. So I just thought that it might be a good idea, and he kept suggesting it. So that's how I had it down.
So, the form says you're from Newtown, like the Jack from the Newtown, right? Jack Pearson.
Yeah, Jack Pearson.
Okay, so how is he doing today?
He's
I mean,
doing
how is he doing these days?
he's doing really really well. Him and his wife are having a kid. They're very very happy. Seems like to me. I'm not great friends with them, but every time I talk to them, they seem quite
Oh, okay. So looks like we did a pretty decent job. Like, so he referred to us
yeah.
care.
Seems like
Okay. I hope he's doing well. Yeah. So did you receive any of the papers we sent you?
Yeah, I got two. I read the first one, the one on I want to say informed consent, but I didn't get a chance to read the other one. I'm very busy these days.
Okay. The paper we sent you were about the rules and regulations of this care. So, and also it was particularly mentioned about confidentiality and informed consent.
Yeah.
So everything we talk in this session will be limited within this room, and only person I'll be sharing is my supervisor and me myself, of course. And I would also like to let you know that I'm a mandatory reporter, so I need to report certain things like if you have involved in big crimes, and if you talk about self-harm and something like that.
Yeah.
So I'm happy to continue if you sign this paper.
Yeah. No problem. There you go.
Oh, that's all right. So I would like to let you know that this is our first session. So so we work on like collaborative approach. Like you share some of the things, and I'll listen to it, and hopefully we will get all the things you said, and we will work in the next session.
Okay. Sounds good.
Okay. So I'm happy to continue. Yeah, so if you're happy to continue, I'll start.
Yeah.
Okay, so Mr. Gonzalez, so why are you here today?
I'm just here today because it was my 70th birthday 3 weeks ago, and ever since then I've started to feel really fatigued and really like down, and just like I can't do it anymore. And it's been like coming to a sort of that was the catalyst. It's been coming to a head since my son got into an accident about 2 years ago. He was cycling. He's an incredible cycler. He Olympic level in my opinion. He got into an accident. Someone ran into him, and he now is unable to use his legs. They don't work. And because of this, it's just been really really hard to take care of him. And up until a year ago, I had my wife to help, but she passed away of cancer, and so that's been really really hard. So balancing the emotions of that, along with just practically having to take care of us and our financial situation is awful. So yeah, if I'm just really overwhelmed at the moment, I need some guidance.
I'm so sorry to hear about the loss of your wife, and my condolences to you.
Thank you.
So I'm so sorry to hear about like your son met an accident. I think that is one of the challenging things that happened in your life. And also, you said that you're a bit old, so you're getting a bit old, and so you are the only one to look after your son at the house. Okay, so it looks like a bit distressing situation you are in right now in your life.
Yeah.
So talking about your son Vincent, so can you elaborate me on how was he like as a kid? So what were his educational qualifications and how is he different now?
He used to be a very outgoing kid, very intelligent, very smart, very athletic. He was, I feel like half the time I saw him, he was on a bike.
Mm-hmm.
We used to live in a cul-de-sac, and he would ride up and down it all the time. He'd beat all the other kids. He loved being the center of attention. So it's just really tricky to see him how he is now. As for his educational qualifications, he finished high school. He's got a bachelor in arts and a science degree as well.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's doing biochem or something like that. He's very smart, but he's not like he didn't pursue it. He wanted to do cycling. It was his passion. So.
Looks like Vincent was pretty brilliant kid as a kid. When he was a kid,
He
so
was.
like he was pretty much outgoing kid, and he was a lot of so he was into so much sociableness. Like he used to go around with a lot of people. He used to get up. I know how that feels because, like you said, he's in a wheelchair. I think it's kind of hard for him.
Yeah.
And also, I know how that feels a bit because one of my nephew, see, he used to be a sporting person, like he was a basketball player, and just 3 months ago he met an accident, and he is also in his wheelchair. I think that's quite distressing situation. I can feel to some extent. Yeah, like you mentioned, like you're the only one here at your home. Do you have any support system? How often do you get along with your other children? And how about his friends, Vincent friends?
Well, my other two kids, I got two boys. They come over a decent amount, maybe twice every month. But they're both very busy. One's a lawyer.
Mm-hmm.
The other one's doing something in medicine. And I think they come over around 2 times a month. They're pretty active. I appreciate it
Mm-hmm.
a lot. That feels like the only time I get downtime. And my youngest son's wife is a nurse.
Okay.
She works with elderly people. And according to her, elderly people and disabled people, the skills they still transfer obviously. So she works with she works with elderly people, and that makes it really easy for her to work with Vincent and relate to him and make him feel comfortable and taken care of. So he loves her. He loves when she comes over. But it's just really it's a little bit sad though because they come over and it's great, but when they leave, it just feels really depressing because it's only a few days before they come over.
Mm-hmm.
As for his friends, they come over a bit, maybe once a month, around that. There's about 5 of them, the usual ones.
Yeah.
They come over. I've seen them before the accident, and they still hang out with him. But a lot of his friends were never very, like they weren't really conversation people. Their friendships were not built on conversation. So they were built on, having fun, activities, going out, all that stuff. So now that he can't do that, they're not there as much. Which I can't blame them, but it is upsetting sometimes.
Yeah. So it looks like your sons are pretty gone forward in life, like they have pretty much set up, they are pretty much settled in their life, like your sons are pretty going good in their life, and it looks like even though in such a rough life, like your daughter-in-law are coming at a house and they're looking after it, it's quite. I think you have quite good bond, but I think coming once in a week, I mean twice in a week or something like that, just to say hello, and sometimes I know it must be hard for you. So like you mentioned, so it's a bit stressful job for you to look after your son, and you said you're a bit getting old. But how do you cope with the situations?
As in how do I take care of him?
Yeah.
Well, we have a day-to-day routine. I wake up and then I make breakfast.
Also, how do you cope in the situations like you have anxiety, more of the things overwhelming for you, how do you cope with the situation?
Oh, I don't really. I sort of just kind of need to cope with them. I don't know. It's scary. I guess like so it gets scary, but I most of the time just sort of, when I get a little bit overwhelmed or anything, I just sort of try and take a rest, just mentally, or do like a crossword or something, like just
Yeah.
something to take my mind off the whole thing. But sometimes I can't. Sometimes he needs me. Sometimes the house needs me. Sometimes our financials need me. So I most of the time when I'm overwhelmed, I just sort of have to get through it.
Yeah, that's all right. I think you're pretty managing on your own. Yeah, that's all right. So, so do you think Vincent has that problem every time, or like when does the Vincent doesn't have problem? Like, does he do all the problem? So I know he can't do all the things by himself. You can help him. You need to help him. But are there any times like you don't need to help him, or are there any times he himself is not feeling distress or low self esteem? Are there any times?
Well, not really. Most of the time he feels very low. He's in bed pretty much all the time watching TV, playing games and stuff. Which he talks to people online, kind of enjoys that. But it's just so different to what it used to be. I think maybe deep down, this is just my opinion. But deep down, I think that if he just had a mentality shift and he just
Yeah.
was able to sort of, if someone talked to him or something, then he might feel a bit better because he is very smart. I know that cycling was his passion, that's what he wanted to do, and that's fair enough, but he has a degree in art, he has a degree in biochemistry, like he could do something else if he wanted to. He's just in a bit of a rut at the moment, understandably so. So yeah, he basically always seems down a bit.
Yeah.
I don't think it's irreversible. I think there's ways we can get him out of it.
Like here, Mr. Gonzalez, you said like he's pretty much being sometimes in low esteem, sometimes distressed. When you look at him, do you ever feel like does it look like he would kill himself or like he would finish himself off? Does he even have any suicidal thoughts at any time?
No.
I know he's a brilliant kid. I know he's a brilliant kid, but do you when you see and feel like he will self harm himself?
I don't think he's that sort of person. No. I could be wrong, but I don't think he's that sort of person. And I talked about that with my daughter-in-law, the nurse, and she's talked to him a few times specifically about that issue, and he always says that he wouldn't. He's very unhappy, but he knows that he loves me and he loves his brothers and he loves her and his friends just too much to do any of that. So yeah, and this has got some things going for him. He needs to get out of this mental.
Yeah, looks like you and your son have pretty much good bond. I would just like to let you know that I think Vincent is quite lucky to have a father like you. So it's very kind of rare to find such bondings between father and son these days. I think like he's a lucky buddy.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah. So talking about the finances now, how do you earn money and how you used to earn money back then? And are there any employment opportunities that Vincent is involved in and you yourself? How are you paying your bills?
I'm on the pension, so I get a little bit of money on the pension. We have had to sell a few things. So recently I sold the car. That's why I had to get the bus here. So that car was okay. Got me about $10,000, which will keep us going for a little bit. But yeah, most of the time it's pretty much week to week. It's really scary. As I said, I used to work at the reservoir, but now that I'm not going to go back there. I'm too frail.
Yeah.
That's the only qualifications I have. I'm not. So it's a bit.
Yeah. So
a bit of a scary situation.
I know, like, so like you've been getting on the pensions, and I doubt it, like it's enough for you to live and pay the bills. Have you ever considered any of the Centrelink payments for Vincent?
Such as like what other.
Okay. So I'm happy to talk about this in the next session about Centrelink and everything. So moving on, like how do you rate your situation? Like one being the best and 10 being the worst. How do you rate your situation? How are you going in your life?
Maybe a four.
Okay, it was pretty low. So how do you what do you think should be done from your side to make it five or more, like six, seven?
Well, I'd like more time
Mm-hmm.
to myself. Um, I really just kind of, I want to make my son as happy as I can. He's in a really tricky spot right now, which I completely understand. But I think that if he can, he just has a sort of mental shift or mindset change, he might be very, very happy. He's incredibly gifted in a lot of ways, not just the cycling. So, yeah, I think if I could make my son sort of realize his potential outside of cycling, that would make me feel a lot better and get some time and just a little bit of a break from everything. Just, those are the main things.
Like you mentioned, pretty much like good things, like solutions that you would like to do, like you would like to have a free time, so there would be someone to look after your house and everything. You mentioned like you're pretty much feeling tired every time. How big is your house?
It's pretty big. It's when I when I came over, my wife was she was living here, and I met her, and then we bought this small little kind of bit of land, and we just sort of continuously built it. And my family have been, I've been lucky that my wife is very, very intelligent, and my three sons and my two sons that are working make a lot of money, so they've managed to sort of, they chip in quite a bit actually. They I've said to them, you don't have to chip in, but they're like, oh, we'll chip in, you'll let us stay if we need it, or we'll always blah blah blah. And then they make jokes of like, well, it's now our inheritance anyway, so it's a lot of it's probably worth a lot of money. It's quite big.
Mr. Pandal, is like you mentioned you were 70 years old, but when you first came out of the door, I thought you were like a bit 60, 65, something like that. I'd just like to let you know, like, do you think I think you feel it in psychological way, but I see no signs that you're like old enough. Has anyone mentioned that before?
Yeah, a few people have mentioned that.
Hey, you look pretty much young.
Yeah, I've been like lucky enough to sort of
Mm-hmm.
like none of my body is sort of breaking by any means, but it's just I just feel tired basically. Yeah.
That's all right. So, what do you? How much are you convinced so that your problem will be solved?
Maybe a four. I don't know how to fix it. There's just no real way. I've tried many times to talk to him. We have a pretty good relationship, but just not good enough.
Yeah. Yeah, I know that's a pretty much low UK, but you also said that son is pretty much intelligent, and I can also see that you're pretty much confident when you first walk in. Like first, I just saw in your face you are of distress, but when talking with you for like 15 minutes or something, so like you're a bit comfortable and you're open. So tonight, I'll just ask you one of a bit awkward question. Like it's like a miracle question. It's based on like imagination. So tonight, I would like you to go to home and you sleep and just wake up in the morning. But you don't know your problems are solved. So what are the things that will let you know that your problems are solved?
Um, if I had like a lot of food in the house, my son was able to take care of himself and he felt happy. If I had time on my hands, if I could, be like, what am I doing today? And I see that I've got a lot of time on my hands, that would make me feel like my problems are solved.
Okay, that's a pretty much good things you said, like good foods and anxiety free, and you will also be a bit like smart to work and everything in employment opportunity. That's all right. So I just want to let you know that I would like to conclude this session here today. And is there anything we missed to talk about today?
No, it's been good. I've enjoyed it. I look forward to the next session. Thank you.
I would also be happy to meet Vincent in the next session. Would it be alright if I want to see Vincent on my next
Yeah.
session?
He'd be okay with that.
Okay, that's alright. I think we'll be working on next session pretty much about all the stories combining and everything. It was really good to meet you. Thank you so much.
Nice to meet you too.
And do you think you're alright to go home
Yeah.
after sharing all these things?
I'll be okay to go.
Okay,
Thank
thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for your time.
Yeah.